Howdy, howdy, howdy. You can call me the Good Serpent. And I want to open your mind to something. Mind blown. I want to introduce you to the ideal of what if reincarnation was a real thing. And I'm not talking to the ones who already believe it is. I'm talking to the ones who don't think it is. I want to tell you that sometimes the deja vu that we get, and we all get it, your subconscious mind didn't fully reset from a past life. Who do you think you were in the past? I guess endless possibilities. I believe that I was Jim Jones. And I believe that this is the message that Jim Jones had was such a good message, but people, they messed with his mental state, and the message, somewhere along the way, the man got separated from the message. The message needs to come back. We need someone that can say, if you want me to be your God, I'll be your God.
So, Will, you grew up where?
McCarlin, Mississippi.
Central Mississippi, basically.
Yeah, that's it. Central.
Tell me about your family, mom and dad.
Oh, see, they my dad, he was kind of old school. He's born 1922, so he was old school and raised me up basically to be old school. And we had like a little small farm in McCarley, and I always thought it was kind of weird, but I never couldn't get out of it. But growing up, there was always, it was like farm stuff in the late '90s and early 2000s. As a kid, none of my friends, they was doing all that stuff, but basically that's. And then my mom, she what you want to know about her?
Were you close to your mom?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Very close to my mom. She was everything was normal there. She'd take us to church, just a traditional church, and even a traditional church, it didn't have no effect on me.
What kind of kid were you? Do you have friends?
Well, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I always maybe kept maybe one or two, but I didn't have a lot of friends because I stuck to myself. And as a kid, it might have seemed like it was forced, but then as a teenager, that's just that was my comfort zone, sticking to myself. All the children, the teenagers, the things they was into, I never was into. So we was never gonna get along anyhow.
You were kind of a loner?
Yeah, kind of a loner, but I'm a loner because I can't. I have not met my flock. I haven't met my flock yet, and so my people. that think like me. And so yeah, I what's the point of doing a useless connection? You know, we're not gonna get along, so we're not gonna have any similarities. So what's the point?
You mentioned that you think you were Jim Jones reincarnated.
Yeah.
Does being a cult leader, that idea attract? Is that
Well,
attractive? Is that an interesting idea to you?
Yeah, but it's a little deeper. The cult thing, you know, sure. I mean, people will kind of look up to you for advice.
Well, you'll have a flock.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it will, and you know, if you don't let it get to you, like you actually use it for good, and then you might can help people out.
Do you think Jim was doing any good?
I believe so in the beginning, and I believe he was. You know, if you ever look up the people that escaped, they was doing all right up until the end. And, you know, the end. You know, you judge somebody based off that one bad thing, but then people will tend to forget all the good things. You know, he had that going for a bunch of years. You know, it's not like it was an experiment gone bad. He actually was doing pretty good with it. It just that, you know, it just ended the way. Actually, it ended the way it was meant to end. There's no other way it could have ended.
So. You've been emailing me through the years.
Yes.
And you've had different.
That's right.
Ideas going through your head each time you email me.
Yes, that's right. And
you want to revisit some of those?
Yeah.
What were some of the earlier ideas going through your head when you had contacted me in the past?
Yeah. Well, when I contacted you in the past, now I don't know if you remember any of it, because like I said, I think probably the first time a couple of years ago, it's always been about I don't even know how to really describe it, but the subject has always been almost the same. It's been basically doing away with traditional religion. And you know, that's been my focus, is the traditional religion. It just, you know, I feel like that is what messes people up, is traditional.
Did you have experiences with organized religion when you were young?
No, I didn't. And I mean, organized, yes. Yes. In McCarley, with the church that my mom took me to, but what I thought you was going with was, I don't know why my mind just took me right to almost kind of like a little commune. But I did end up going to one of those for just a little while. I tried out the commune thing with the intentions of one day being their main dude,
being their leader.
Yeah, but it just wasn't. Even that wasn't for me, because they was stuck teaching the Bible, and I just don't think the Bible is made to trap people. And so the organized religion, you know, every single church, especially here in this state, every single church is all about the Bible. So when you go there, you're already getting conditioned. You know, you're getting programmed from the beginning of what you need to you know, what you need to think about.
What would be the ideas and concepts for your commune cult?
Oh, well,
flock.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it would be basically just try to be a good person. That's all you need to do, is to be a good person.
Which is what Jesus was basically teaching.
Yeah, well, yeah, but see, the Bible. Now Jesus, I don't think that Jesus did any type of violent acts. But in the Old Testament, it was violent act one after the next. But I don't think that see, with Jesus, they will tell you that you need to. There's 10 commandments. You got to follow them. And if you don't follow them, okay, well, odds are, yeah, you're going to hell. And it don't matter how good of a person. See, it wasn't just be good with Jesus. It's, you got these, there's these other little stipulations, or you're going to burn. So there's besides the 10 commandments, they even encourage you to tithe. Of course, that I guess you could say that keeps the church doors open, but it also contributes to the preacher's greed. And so it's just too organized, too set up like a business. And I believe that everybody is a soul and not a body. We're just here in this body. This ain't ours. That's what I believe, that this is just something that we're borrowing, and we can't take it with us whenever we do level up. And so we don't need all these rules to follow. It's just as simple as just be good.
There's a lot of rules.
It is a lot of rules in organized religions. Yes, there's I'm sure a preacher would lay out the rules too for you, and the end result is, if you don't follow those rules, then you're burning for eternity. And eternity is, the way I see it, it's 1,000,000 years times 1,000,000 times 1,000,000 times 1,000,000. That don't make sense to me. If I was a good person, just a good person, but I didn't worship, I'm burning for that many years. And burning what? This ain't my body. So once my soul gets out of this body, what is burning? My soul, a ball of energy, is burning for 1,000,000 years times 1,000,000. I just don't believe it. It's just something that I choose not to believe.
Let me go back to your childhood a little bit. What kind of teenager were you?
At first, I believe any teenager would like to try to give in to a little bit of peer stuff. Whatever the other teenagers are doing, you try it out and see if it works for you. But as a teenager, I was just out there in McCarley, and I didn't go anywhere. So I was basically just kind of in my own little world. Because I didn't too much conversate with my dad, because we was from way different times. I just couldn't. So I just be in that room, and then I'll walk outside. We had, like I said, we had a little farm. I walk out, walk around, but it wasn't my childhood and my teenage years. That was it. It really wasn't anything eye opening. It almost was, even though it wasn't fun compared to other teenagers. What they would say they was doing. Going to the movies, or going over to a friend's house, or going to a concert. I wasn't doing none of that, but it wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing that shaped me into who I am now.
Mm-hmm. Have you had friends in your life?
I've had friends when I thought that's what I was supposed to do, and I'm not against having friends, but now more so I'm against having friends that ain't meant for me. You'll know when somebody's meant for you, because there'll be a connection. And that also, when a person when a person is in the process of getting ready to reincarnate into another body, they meet other souls. And you know, it ain't just your soul just floating around the galaxy. You meet other people. And you know, they got something they call a soul contract. And so whenever you come back, you may, somewhere in this lifetime, you may finally meet the people, the people that soul then went into. Now you meet them. Now you feel like you done know them. You connect. Y'all got the same mindset. You know, that's your people. And I am having a very difficult time finding my people. But they're out there though, and I know they're out there. They are out there. I just gotta be patient, because there's people that think like I think. It's just I just gotta find them.
Tell me a little bit about the earlier ideas that were going through your head when you emailed me in the past.
Well,
we never really got into that when we asked earlier.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to do, and one of these days I am gonna do it. I want to write down everything that a person needs to do to finally make it out of this, you know, out of Earth. And as long as that person is just solely dependent on the Bible, they're never going to get out of here. Because whenever you die, you know, you're coming back. You're never going to get out of here unless you do it the right way. And that's, so I'm not, I'm not necessarily saying that I'm going to start a new religion, but in a simple way of putting it, yes. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make it where I could help people get out of here for good finally. Because you know, you don't have to reincarnate for thousands and thousands of years. You can get out of here, but you know, you just gotta do good. The reason why you have to do good is because of the karma thing. And so that's what anytime I try to reach out to you, it was basically trying to introduce, I was trying to somebody is going to listen, and then they're going to listen to this, and then they might have never thought about that before. They might have never thought, because the church right now would tell you that reincarnation is not real. But if you do your research on it, that was the original belief that everybody had. And years and years and years ago, church erased it and come up with what they got. They've been doing this now for probably 2,000 years, and it's just not gonna be effective until you open your eyes. And when you open your eyes, then you accept that. I believe that some people, if you ask, not even some people, most people, if you ask most people, they will claim that they are what you see. But that's what the church will teach you. But you got a soul. If you don't, if you just keep getting hit with that karma, you're going to keep coming back. And something else, if you, whatever it is, if you've had a hard life, and everybody's got a different definition of what's a hard life. Some people's life really was hard. Compared to some people, my life was easy. But also, compared to some, my life's not easy. But if you go through anything in this life, it was because in a past life, that's what you did to somebody. So that's where the karma is coming back. It's if you was selfish or greedy or hurt somebody and you lived 60 years doing that, your karma's not going to be simple. No, it's waiting for you in the next life. It's coming back. But I think that if people could just go ahead and be aware now, basically have that spiritual awakening, and they know it now, then maybe they can start trying to right their wrongs. And if they done live a certain age and they already done did a bunch of wrong stuff, they probably still coming back. But at least the next time they come back, it'll be a little bit better for them, and then that's probably it. And then they can level up and get out of here.
Yeah, have you ever thought that maybe you should just get out of Mississippi?
Yes, I've done that.
California or Florida would be good states for this kind of thinking.
Yeah, well, the Florida thing is it's closer to me, but I don't like natural disasters, and they happen. You got I've have had this thought that you got to pick your poison at some point. You gotta figure out, what would you rather tolerate? Because everywhere's got something you're gonna have to see. With the Florida thing is every so often they're gonna have a hurricane, and if you just so happen to have a vehicle that's not gonna crank up on that day, then you can't escape it. If that's how it was meant for you to go out, then I guess you just have to accept that. But I'm trying to look at all my options. But I do travel, and I do consider other states. And like I said, I've been to California. I've even considered Nevada. Just different states.
Mm-hmm.
Just different states. If I could make it to Hawaii,
That would work too.
yeah, I'll try that out. I'll give that a shot. That might help my ideal of paradise out a little bit better.
You've never had a girlfriend?
I used to think that I've had girlfriends, but really and truly it was just time fillers is what it was. I gained nothing from it, so it was just something to fill the time. If we would have had a actual real connection, then I would still have a girlfriend right now. But since it wasn't a real connection, I really hate to even give that title girlfriend if it wasn't, meant to be. I just say it was somebody that I was hung out with. But that was the last time that I actually, what people would call a relationship, what the normal people would call relationships, that ended in 2013. So I've had a lot of time to just be in my thoughts, and see, I get to experience what other people don't experience, because other people, they got to go to work, so they don't have time to think about.
Have you not worked?
I have tried. I have tried to work. Probably I think a couple of times in 2000, long time ago, 2008, 2009. And then it just wasn't going to work. It just wasn't going to work because there are certain things I can't deal with, and the way people are programmed, most people don't lose that programming. I think it's a rare thing for someone to break out of it, and it's too much of a common thing that people don't break out of it. And that's unfortunate because they are who they are said they have to be. That's, that a lot of people don't even look at it that way, but the religion they have, they didn't choose that religion. That's what, that's what they was told they had to have. And, and wherever they was born, if they move, some people move far away, but sometimes they right there, and they just programmed. They have children, their children grow up to do the same thing, what they were told to do. And, it just ain't for me. And so a job would be difficult because I don't want to hear about what their kid did, at school or something, or what any little kind of conversation they're going to have with me at work. I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do it. And so the job thing never was going to work. Nope.
You're a loner.
Yeah, temporarily, because I believe that in a past life I wasn't. And, and I do believe that I will, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life to myself. This is, the universe is going to bring me the people that see it how I see it. And I believe that's going to be some of the best thing that could ever happen.
So you're kind of have your sights on a commune or a religion of your own.
Yes. Yeah. I think that it could work out. I do. I believe it could work out. I also have mentioned to you about, I brought up Slab City with the ideal.
You'd be perfect there.
Yeah, I think that the people there, but I don't think that the people would want to not necessarily modernize, but what got me to talk myself out of it is I don't think that they want anybody to own it. And I would, for me to really do what I wanted to do, I would have to own it. I think it's government owned too, and I don't know if they would sell it or not. But I think the Slab City people don't want to. I think they like their little setup they got going on. I don't think that they would want ideals. They all got their own ideals, and I need to find people that truly believe that we are just souls picking out the next body we're going to get into. And that's the start. It's deeper than that, but that's the start. We start there and then we build from that. But as long as they got that belief, then I'm going to consider them my people.
How old are you?
I am 36.
36.
36 years old. And so I'm not old, but I'm also not super young. So that's why I keep thinking that
You're about the right age for a cult leader?
yeah, I'm thinking that something got to give, and something's gonna have to happen, because if not, then I done lived this life too long, in this condition. It's done been too long. The people that I've encountered throughout my entire adulthood, that's where things got interesting. It was when I entered adulthood. That's when lessons started. I started learning some lessons and seeing things for what, the people's greed, and the people will turn on you, and in the conditioned world, nobody is really your friend. It's you have to find the people that you connect with, because if not, it's gonna be a lonely place. And I can have a fake group around me to keep me from being by myself, but I just don't see where that benefits me at all.
Mm-hmm.
It has no benefit to me to sit and talk about whatever small talk they want to talk about. There's no benefit, especially if I'm going to genuinely give them my time and then they turn on me in the end. So it just I remain hopeful and believing that the universe, you can manifest things, and that's something else that I just don't believe that people are taught that about how your subconscious mind will manifest whatever you think about.
Mm-hmm.
But that also works in a negative way. If you're not thinking about the things that's going to benefit you, well, every bad thing your subconscious mind is taking in, it's going to create it for you.
Have you ever spent time in jail or prison?
I've never been in jail or prison. I had one little incident after my dad had died, where I was riding around listening to loud music, and I wasn't in a in a really all too great mood, and got pulled over. And
Were you drinking?
no, I was not drinking, but the cop had I guess an ego problem, and wanted to show me, basically assert his authority, and he took me. If I had been broke, I would have went to jail, but I had bonded myself immediately out, because jail is something that I don't ever plan to go to. I have no plans to go there. I'm not against anybody who's been. Sometimes those are the kind of people that are open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to judge you. So I'm not against them, but it's just a place that I don't want to go to.
Understood. Let me ask you one last question, Will. What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Oh, well, the most important lesson is that you got to put yourself number one. Some people might think, well, that don't sound that great, but you cannot be in any position to be beneficial to anybody if you don't care about yourself. And I think that's where people got to protect their mind, and they got to put themselves number one, and then eventually things will work out. They will.
All right. Will, Good Serpent.
Yeah, the Good Serpent.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on reincarnation and karma.
Yeah, it's a very interesting subject. I wish that more people would be interested in.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm talking to the ones who feel abandoned. They don't reach out to that person. They don't reach out to this person. That person, right? They reached out everywhere, and they've been let down every time. When you need somebody who's never going to give up on you, I'm never going to give. I'm the Good Serpent. I'm not going to give up on you. I got faith in you. I believe in you. Do you believe in me? We'll see. We'll see.